Mick Ralphs' passing marks more than the end of a life. It closes a chapter in the book of British rock music. His journey, beginning in the countryside of Herefordshire, traced the arc of a generation that changed the world through amplifiers, analog tape, and a rebellious spirit. In the 1960s, when British youth were redefining culture, Ralphs was quietly crafting his sound, never chasing trends, but instead digging deep into the emotional truth of the blues. He first made his mark with Mott the Hoople, a band teetering on the edge of both collapse and greatness. Ralphs was there during their most critical transformation, playing a key role when David Bowie famously intervened to save the band by offering them All the Young Dudes. Ralphs' guitar playing during that era blended glam swagger with blues-rooted discipline. But while the group flirted with glam rock's flamboyance, Ralphs was always more comfortable with grit than glitter. He wanted to play honest music, not pose for cameras. So he left. It wasn't a dramatic split, but a necessary one. He wanted to be in a band that sounded like the songs in his head. That band would be Bad Company. Bad Company wasn't just a band. It was an elemental force in the 1970s rock scene. Alongside Paul Rodgers, Simon Kirke, and Boz Burrell, Ralphs helped define a sound that was both muscular and melodic, heavy yet soulful. His riff on Can't Get Enough wasn't just a catchy lick, it was a sonic handshake, a bold introduction to what would become one of the most respected supergroups in rock history. His writing credits are a roadmap of the genre's greatest hits. Feel Like Making Love remains a staple of classic rock radio. Ready for Love, which Ralphs originally brought over from Mott the Hoople, is perhaps the most personal expression of his musical DNA, equal parts yearning, swagger, and tonal elegance. These weren't just songs, they were statements of identity. Beyond the hits, Ralphs was revered by his peers for being the kind of guitarist who listened. He didn't play over people, he played with them. Paul Rodgers, in past interviews, often praised Mick for knowing how to serve the song, a phrase few in the world of rock truly live by. Ralphs never sought the spotlight. He let the music do the talking. That humility made him a favorite not just among fellow musicians, but among fans who saw in him a reflection of the everyman. He was the opposite of the larger-than-life rock god. Instead, he was a man with calloused fingers, worn frets, and a heart full of melody. He was the kind of guitarist who played like he meant it, because he did. In his later years, as the industry shifted to algorithms and image, Ralphs remained steadfast in his purpose. He wasn't chasing streaming numbers or social media followers. He was still chasing the perfect groove. His final work with the Mick Ralphs Blues Band felt like a homecoming. It stripped away all pretense and brought him back to where it all began, the blues. Tracks like Ain't It Broke and Talk to Your Daughter weren't just exercises in nostalgia. They were affirmations that Ralphs still had that fire, that deep understanding of what makes a song resonate in the bones. To newer generations who might only know his work through playlists or YouTube clips, it's worth saying this plainly. Mick Ralphs helped build the sound you're hearing. His fingerprints are on everything from gritty pub rock to polished arena anthems. And now, in a time when the authenticity he championed feels rare, his legacy feels more vital than ever. As Bad Company takes its rightful place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this November, it will be both a celebration and a farewell. Mick Ralphs won't be on that stage, but his spirit will echo in every speech, every note, every cheer from the crowd. That honor belongs to the man who never sought it, but so deeply deserved it. He leaves behind a catalog of music that doesn't need to be reinterpreted or explained. It simply needs to be played, loudly. on a dusty record player, or through the hum of a car stereo, on a long drive beneath the open sky. So here's to Mick Ralphs, the quiet architect of thunderous anthems, the blues craftsman who taught us that less could be so much more. You weren't the loudest voice in the room, Mick, but you always said the most. And now, as the final chord rings out, we honor you not with... In his final years, even as his health declined, Mick Ralphs remained deeply connected to the music that shaped his life. Though a stroke in 2016 left him unable to perform live again, he continued to be revered by fans and peers alike, not for flamboyance or spectacle, but for the timeless power of his playing. Ralphs wasn't just a contributor to rock history, he was a pillar of it. His songs continue to soundtrack everything from smoky bar nights to cinematic moments on screen, and his guitar tone remains instantly recognizable to those who grew up under the spell of 70s rock. Unlike many of his contemporaries who drifted toward reinvention, or reinvention for reinvention's sake, Ralphs stayed true to the roots of his sound. He let the strings do the talking. He never needed to be loud off stage. His riffs were loud enough to echo through generations. His work with Mott the Hoople laid the foundation for glam meets grit, and his transition to Bad Company helped define the slick yet soulful sound that became the hallmark of arena rock. Ralphs was the kind of guitarist whose playing you could sing along to, not because it was simple, but because it was melodic, raw, and deeply human. He understood that feel mattered more than flash, that space between notes could say more than a flurry of speed ever could. Guitarists still study the way he bends into the intro of Feel Like Makin' Love, or how he lets the chords ring out on Shooting Star, knowing that it's not just about the notes, but about the weight behind them. Even away from the spotlight, Ralphs remained curious and collaborative. He mentored young musicians quietly, offering encouragement and the occasional jam session when his health allowed. Those who played with him often spoke of the ease with which he created. No ego, just groove. His passing marks not just the end of an era, but the farewell to a rare kind of rock star, one who carried both fire and humility in equal measure. For every stadium he shook, he also inspired 1,000 bedroom guitarists to pick up a six-string and chase their own voice. Ralphs didn't just play the blues, he lived it, loved it, and left it better than he found it. His tone may have faded into silence, but its echo remains.